Hello YouTube world, my name is Nicholas Montez and you're watching my YouTube channel, The Teenage Movie Critic. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, Nick, where have you been for a week? Why haven't you made any videos since Monday morning? Well, the reason for that was because since Monday I was on vacation and I actually came back on Saturday. And so, I had a lot of stuff to kind of catch up on. I'm slowly starting to get back into it. Watching movies, making the videos I need to do. Spent a week off of vacation. Probably, even though it was vacation, still kind of felt, tired and everything. But, it's Disney World. It was my first time back at Disney World. I have a vlog posted up already by the time this video comes out. And it's also on my Instagram and my TikTok. And I've also posted stuff on my Instagram, so you can see all of that there. With that said, we're going to go ahead and get started with the video. And even if I was away from home, I still could not miss the infamously new Marvel fan film, Spider-Man Lotus, which is this big fan film that has lots of controversy because of the director, actors that are racist. But honestly, I didn't really care much about that. I mean, obviously, yeah, I could see something wrong with that if you don't want to watch the movie. But I was going into this movie basically saying, I'm excited for this because I'm a Spider-Man fan. And the story that this guy is putting together sounds really good. So, and also I wasn't going to watch it before just because it's a fan film. They're just movies that they want to make on YouTube because they're fans of these franchises. But then I saw it was on Letterboxd, though it has been kind of weird lately because it's been getting taken down because people keep commenting stuff about the racist stuff on it. Though it's still a movie that exists. So what exactly is this video about? So I didn't really want to make a review about it just because it's a movie, because I'm not really reviewing any movies from this past weekend. So instead, a couple weeks ago, I watched all the low-budget Spider-Man films. Basically, the other Spider-Man movies that star Nicholas Hammond from the TV show from the 70s. So basically, this video is basically ranking all 4 low-budget Spider-Man films. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started ranking all 4 low-budget Spider-Man films. Okay, so as the first film in this franchise, is kind of weird because of our low-budget Spider-Man films. Also, the reason why I didn't include Spider-Man Lotus in a main Spider-Man ranking is because it doesn't really belong in the main category of Spider-Man films. It belongs in this category. I forgot to say that in the little intro there, but to be clear, so when it comes to Spider-Man 1977, the movie where my mom was born, I thought it was an okay movie. It's fun to see all these characters play these iconic characters that we've been seeing in the Sam Raimi films, where we get to see J. Jonah Jameson. He looks kind of different. The Robbie Robertson guy, he looks kind of different, and then Nicholas Hammond plays Spider-Man pretty good. The big and then of course, just kind of them talking about this guy that dresses up in spandex and he has spider powers. Just everyone talking about Spider-Man in this movie is really fun and cool. However, they have this storyline about mind manipulation that is just so weird. It's so out of context. I feel like they don't develop all the characters enough. And even when it comes to like certain action, it just kind of looks weird. So I would say it's sort of exciting as a Marvel Spider-Man fan, but it's not anything particularly great at all. Now, Spider-Man Strikes Back, I actually think is a much better movie than what people give it credit for. I think that this movie builds off of what the first film did. It actually has a bit of I think what this film does a bit better than Spider-Man 1977 is that it actually has, or Peter Parker actually has different relationships. People are questioning him of who this Spider-Man character is. And so there's interesting stuff through that. They even have some actually better cool action in this film, where they actually have this like little car chase, and you're seeing it through the lens of like the car, of the car window that you look back and you look back what's back there. It's like it does unique stuff with that, and then of course the score is pretty great. At the same time, it's nothing completely special. I would say it does things that are a little bit better than Spider-Man 1977. Okay, so for me, this is easily my favorite of the Nicholas Hammond Spider-Man films, where obviously I'm not the biggest fan of Spider-Man fighting these Japanese people and he's in China and he's in Japan or wherever he is. I don't know if I'm the biggest fan of that, but I think in the way that the story was told, it actually has a bit more it has a bit of cooler action, but it actually has a Spider-Man stakes story where Spider-Man has to come in and save this dad and has to save this girl's dad, but Peter Parker is friends with this girl, but he just left. And he's like, "You abandoned my father when he was in need. Even though Spider-Man came, you still abandoned us when you could have stayed and helped us." And I saw that and I was like, that's a cool Spider-Man story. Like, that's a Spider-Man story that, like, this movie has consequences. And I'm just like, that's crazy to me that they did it. And then once "You're a coward, you left my father to die." And then when he finally reveals himself to her, you actually feel the satisfaction. So I thought it was actually a very underrated Spider-Man film, but at the same time not being anything amazing or great. Okay, so finally we get the fan. Now, if you guys know me, when they first announced that when I first heard about a fan film Spider-Man movie, I was like, I don't really care too much about it because it's not really a movie. It's just a film on YouTube being made by fans of Spider-Man and nothing else. And then I saw I had Letterboxd stuff on Letterboxd, but then I also heard about the backlash that it got for the directors and the actors and all that good stuff. And I'm like, that's wild. But at the same time, I'm still gonna watch it. It's sort of like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. People aren't probably going to watch it because of the stuff with Zoe Saldana, because of the stuff with Chris Pratt, because of the stuff with James Gunn and what happened with him, with all the tweets he made on Twitter because he got fired from Disney. But did I watch it knowing that? Yeah, but did I care about that? I mean, of course I care, but that's not going to, like, take away my excitement for the movie. I'm still going to go watch it. And it's the same thing with this movie. Sure, these people might be racist, but I'm going into this movie wanting to watch a great Spider-Man film. And if that's what he's doing, that's what he's doing. And as you guys can tell, I absolutely loved this movie. Now, keep in mind, I tend to love the big action Spider-Man films, like the ones that we've been getting thus far. But this is kind of the Spider-Man story that I personally wanted to see, where in that it blends these two stories of the death of Gwen Stacy and the Tim Harrison story both together, where they explore how do you deal with grief and how do you deal with loss, and they really explore it through all the different characters. With Peter Parker, of course, Spider-Man has disappeared, and so he's having trouble becoming that superhero again. Mary Jane, Harry went away, so now she's trying to find someone to come to be with her. And then, of course, through this, she also goes back to smoking. And then, even with Harry, not only did he lose Gwen, but he also lost his father during that time with her and Gwen Stacy, because Green Goblin killed her father. Green Goblin killed Gwen. In the process, Spider-Man killed Green Goblin. So in the absence, Harry lost his father, so he's dealing with the loss of Gwen and his father, which also brings him back to going back to pills. And so it's like, it really dives deep into like, how do people react to death? How do people grieve? How do people deal with loss? You go back to smoking. You go back to pills. You punish yourself. Or you do something to yourself that makes you feel good, but in the end, it's not. And that's like a human experience. And even through that, I even love in the way that they actually use the Tim Harrison story, because it relates back to what Peter Parker's all about. To what Spider-Man is, and that, he thinks after that night, he's not a hero. Like, this kid, he thinks I'm a hero, but all that stuff is not true. And, like, sure, all these video games, all these posters and all that stuff make me look like a hero, but I'm really not. Because he blames himself for what happened to Gwen, and he killed Green Goblin, so that makes him a monster. But then Tim Harrison shows him this book, this scrapbook, all the pictures of Spider-Man, of all the villains he stopped. And he's in that moment he starts to realize, I am a hero. I stopped all these bad guys. And this one kid, is coming to me saying, you are my hero. I looked up to you. If this one kid can look up to him, I am that hero. And it's just such a great thing. Like, sure, you probably made one mistake, but look at all the other good stuff you did. You saved the Sinister Six and all the history that you did. It was a realization for him. And then even when Harry, Peter, and Mary Jane come back together again, it's like, if we're grieving, we shouldn't be separate. We should be all together. And that was just such a great story. And even adding Flash Thompson, which he's not a big part of the movie, but it was a different side of Flash that I'd never seen before. That, he was the bully of Peter Parker, but like he was talking about, kind of surprised me that he's the first time he stood up for himself. He's a good guy. It's like, this is such a different version of Flash Thompson I've never seen. Almost reminded me of the Amazing Spider-Man, of that version of Flash that was so different, and I kind of wish they actually did that with Flash Thompson in the MCU films, or even in the Raimi trilogy. Though we never really got to see Flash Thompson in the Raimi trilogy at all. And then, of course, for the last thing I'm going to talk about here is really just the swinging scenes. As a fan film, the fact that this was made by fans of Spider-Man, the swinging scenes just look incredible. I mean, sure, it looks kind of weird, but I think it looks absolutely great, and it looks better. The swinging scenes just get better every time in the movie. Like, every time I watch it, I just want to see more of that. I want to see what more Gavin can do, and this movie has proved to me that fans should be making more Spider-Man films like this. I kind of made this video just to talk about this movie, but if I'm being honest, do I have any flaws with this movie? Not really. The only it probably lingers a little bit. It's a 2-hour movie, but the last 15 minutes are due to the credits. I get if you want to credit people that made it, but 2 hours is a little much. And then maybe experiment more with action, because you have techniques that you could use, and I've seen action. I've seen some fan films that have pretty good action. So overall, I love Spider-Man Lotus. This is definitely one of my favorite films of the year. I loved it, and yes, I'm including it in this. And I actually think it's better than Across the Spider-Verse. So that's what I thought about it. So that is my ranking of all the low-budget Spider-Man films. Thank you guys for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All my social media stuff is in the about section over there. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.